What's up, guys? Gajira54 here, and today we're going to be talking about Captain America Civil War versus Batman v Superman. So yes, today we're going to be determining which is the definitive superhero versus movie. Like I said, Civil War versus Batman v Superman. Now, I also know what a lot of people are going to say, though. They are going to say, oh, don't even judge these movies. They're completely different, but actually they do have a lot in common, and we will talk about that. But now let's just go ahead and start with the facts. Now, for box office, we have Captain America Civil War, which hasn't even been in theaters for over a week and a half, but it has already grossed over $940 million. But on the other hand, with Batman v Superman, it has been in theaters for over 7.5 weeks now, which is about like 52 days, and it has only made not even over $900 million. It has only made $868 million. In terms of that, Batman v Superman is a box office bomb. Critically speaking, though, Civil War has been hailed as one of the best superhero MCU movies, and just in general, one of the best superhero movies. Batman v Superman, however, though, you guys already know with the sad Affleck and stuff like that, it's also been just critically panned and stuff like that. Now we got the facts out of the way, though. Now we can finally get to my opinions. And like I said, guys, these are just my opinions. Now for the plot and story of the films. The basic plot of Batman v Superman, since it did come out first, is that Batman witnessed the events of Man of Steel, all the collateral damage, all of the destruction of lives Superman destroyed, or at least he thinks Superman did. So basically, the Batman thinks that he has to take Superman down. The story for Captain America Civil War, however, basically with all of the Avengers films and the Winter Soldier, basically the government thinks that these superheroes are unsafe, they operate with full power with no supervision, they have no accountability. So basically they have the Sokovia Accords, and Tony is in favor of this. Captain America, however, is not, and that creates a rift between the heroes, and that's what makes them fight. Now here's my problem with Batman v Superman. Basically the whole fight could have been avoided if they just sat down, talked, and they didn't have to fight at all. But guess what happens in Civil War? They sit down, they talk, and nothing gets resolved. That's the difference. They actually do sit down and talk. Batman and Superman, however, do not. So nothing gets resolved except the fight, and the resolution in the fight is also really bad, but you guys already know about that. But really, they already sat down and talked. It went nowhere, and that's why it resorted to a fight. That's really what makes it the superior in terms of story. So that's why I would give it to Civil War. Now, in terms of characters, Civil War had so many characters to juggle. Basically, they had all the Avengers except Hulk and Thor. But Batman v Superman, however, all they had was Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and just very short cameos of the Justice League. And which was handled better? I gotta go with Civil War again, though. Really, I mean, think about it. Civil War, like I said, they had so many characters to juggle, and each character got the right amount of screen time they deserved. Also, though, the two characters, Captain America and Iron Man, they're just so much more likable than Batman and Superman. And this is a little unfair, though, because you're judging, basically, a pre-established universe that's already had, like, 13 movies in, 8 years in, versus a movie that's now 2 movies in, and it's just now starting out. But we are comparing them, so we have to do this. But really, also, if they did have more movies to establish them, I would still say that Captain America Civil War would win, just because, like I said, they're more likable, and Superman has 42 lines of dialogue. That is just ridiculous. Now for the villains, though, the scheming villains, the puppet masters. You have Jesse Eisenberg's interpretation of Lex Luthor, and you have Daniel Bru's Baron Zemo. Now this is actually kind of interesting. A lot of people, surprisingly, a lot of people don't like Baron Zemo. Me, however, I do like him, though. I think he's actually one of the best movie on-screen MCU villains we've had. Jesse Eisenberg, he's just ridiculous. I absolutely hate his... He's basically Joker. This is what they wanted. They wanted Joker, but couldn't get him, so they settled for Lex Luthor. That's basically what they did with him. His plans were overcomplicated. It was just a whole lot of nothing, basically. It was ridiculous. It was overcomplicated, like I said, and it doesn't make sense, but Baron Zemo, his makes sense. Also, he has a motive. His family was killed in Sokovia in the events of Age of Ultron. It would have been nice to see him in Age of Ultron to kind of set him up, but it's still good. He has motives. Lex Luthor does not have motives. Like I said, he does. And his plan is executed very well. You understand exactly what's going on. He wants the activation codes for the Winter Soldier. He wants to turn them against each other, because he even says, stronger men than I have tried to take them down. So what he does is that he makes them go up against each other. And really, he is really the only villain that has accomplished his goal in the movies. So that's why I would give the point again to Civil War. Now this next one was kind of interesting. Basically just general audience accessibility. And I would give this one to Batman v Superman because if you think about it, like I said, this is a whole franchise. This is a universe that's 8 years in, 13 movies in, and if you don't go into this watching the right movies, you're gonna be lost. You're gonna be lost with what happened to Bucky, Iron Man's parents, this kind of stuff, just basic stuff. But if you go into Batman v Superman, it's basically already a new universe, so that's how it also works into its favor. So that's a good point, you know what I mean? So that's why it works. That's why I would have to give the point to Batman v Superman on that one, simply because more people could go into it knowing exactly what's going on, not asking questions. Now we have expanding the universe, basically the characters they add. So for Batman v Superman, we have Wonder Woman and the Justice League cameos, and then for Captain America Civil War, we have Spider-Man and Black Panther. Now for Wonder Woman, what was her purpose in the movie? She really didn't do much, but I will say Spider-Man is basically the equivalent of Wonder Woman in this movie, simply because both of them had no reason to be there, basically. The only reason why Spider-Man was there just because they got the rights to it, so they had to put him in this movie. And I enjoyed Spider-Man, but like I said, he has no reason to be in here. For Wonder Woman, she actually has a better reason because they have to get this universe, out and running. But basically, their only whole purpose was to fight in the big fight in the movie, and then just so that they can make their movies. That's basically all it was, and that's why I think they're basically the same, But for Black Panther, oh my gosh, he had an entire story arc. He went from being the prince of Wakanda and his father dying, so then he seeks vengeance. He puts on the Black Panther suit again. He is a warrior and a king, and he goes after Bucky, and then he realizes, holy crap, it's not him who's doing this. So then he's done with vengeance, and then he talks to Zemo about it. He's like, no longer do I want vengeance. He has a whole entire character arc. His character goes from one place to another. And then you have the Justice League cameos in Batman v Superman, and it's just ridiculous. Like, they were horribly done. The email and stuff like that. So that's why I would give it to Captain America Civil War. And finally, the action. This is really where it's at. And I think everybody knows where this is going. It's Captain America Civil War all the way. I mean, think about this logically. Batman v Superman. What action points really stick out to you? What really does stick out to you? The final fight, maybe the Batmobile chase and the Batman warehouse scene. But the rest of the movie is just long. It's boring. I literally almost fell asleep through it. Captain America, though, the whole movie you're just invested. The opening fight scene, I didn't really like. It was too shaky. Maybe it was just because I had the IMAX, or the Real D IMAX 3D thing going on. Crossbones was also kind of misused. I didn't like him in there. But I mean, really, the whole movie, you had so many great fights. You had that fight, which was alright. You had the stairwell fight. You had the Bucky chase. You had the amazing airport scene. How can you not love the airport scene? Like I said, though, you had the Black Panther chasing Bucky. You had the airport scene. How can you beat Ant-Man turning into Giant Man? You have Scarlet Witch, Vision, all this kind of stuff. You have so many great players on that field. You have War Machine crashing down, getting paralyzed. And then, of course, you have the climactic, brutal fight at the end with Iron Man and Captain America. The fight in Batman v Superman, the final fight between them, lasted about 4.5 minutes. And then you have the Doomsday fight with Wonder Woman. It was really just ridiculous, Oh, that's another fight that sticks out to you. But really, it's just, it's not that great. That's what I'm trying to say. The fight scenes were alright. The final fight in Batman v Superman was just a CGI fest. I didn't like it at all. It dragged on for too long. That's why I would give it to Captain America Civil War again. But also, I do want to mention something. People have been saying, I see the memes and stuff like that, oh, and Batman v Superman mentions the parents in the final fight. Oh, everybody hates it. Captain America Civil War, no one bats an eye. It makes so much more sense in Civil War. I mean, Bucky killed Tony's parents, Tony Stark's parents, and Bucky wants to go after him. And Captain's standing in the middle you two, stop fighting. And then he wants to kill him, and then it's just so great. Actually, we'll give Batman v Superman this, though. They took chances. They killed Superman, but they didn't really. He's alive at the end, so it doesn't even matter. But I will say they took more chances with it. Yes, guys, that is why I would say Captain America Civil War is superior. But thank you guys so much for watching, though. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Also, guys, tell me down below, which movie do you think is better? Captain America Civil War or Batman v Superman? Like I said, I like Captain America Civil War better. Thank you guys so much for watching, and then Gojira Fist400 out.